This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with another wargaming and miniature video. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Rust-Oleum Testors craft paint. Okay, Testors, trusted name in modeling. Testors have been around forever, and they have made a lot of acrylic, like model airplane, model tank, modeling paints. And way back when, they moved into the acrylics, but that now they've expanded even more into acrylic craft paints. Okay, craft paints are like your folk arts. You know, these are these giant 2-ounce bottles. That's exactly what this set is. It is a bunch of giant 2-ounce bottles. It comes with a number of different colors. Some of these colors are pretty exciting, and some of them are, you know how it is. Probably okay in the long run. Like, you'll probably need it at some point, but not like black and white and red and green. These colors you're going to need forever, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to take a look at these colors. I'm going to kind of figure out what you actually get in this, and what we're going to do is we're going to use these on some miniatures. Now, I brought out some primed miniatures. Now, these are, I have a mixture of black and white primed miniatures, because I know some colors, like yellow, don't like to go on black. So we're going to test that out. And just FYI for the future, when I'm done with this video, I am going to use these paints to paint 2 of my Napoleonic units, and we're going to see how they turn out. Unfortunately, in this set, okay, it's 36 paints from white to black, is great. But unfortunately, in this set, there's no metallics. And I don't see anything labeled as flesh. So this sunflower kind of looks a little bit like flesh. I might actually test it out on one of these figures just to see if it looks like flesh or not. And there is like a smoke gray and a hazy. Kind of looks like it might be metallic, but they're not. They're gray. So I'm going to have to dig into some other brands and use those as my metallics. So when I'm painting those Napoleonic figures, I'm going to use non-testors for my metallics, just so you know. So when you look and you see those figures, you say, oh, look at those metallics. Yeah, they're not these Testors metallics. Now, Testors does have metallics. It's in a separate set that I didn't get. And finally, none of these are washes, and I'm not going to create my own wash, even though terracotta, and coffee, and red rust, I could probably make my own flesh wash and wash for the figures, but I'm not going to. I'm going to actually use probably some Army Painter washes. Full disclosure. Okay, so, but I will videotape the painting of those units with these paints, and so you'll get to see the progress. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into this. Let's dig into these paints to see exactly what you get. So I was thinking I'm going to have to keep this plastic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this on the bottom of the box. But one thing I do like about this box is it seems pretty durable, and it's something you could carry your paints in even once you've opened it and you've used it. You don't have to toss the box. There are a lot of these starter sets that are just, I don't know, cereal boxes that don't have any durability. Well, this is nice and thick and sturdy. It's a pretty nice box. Can't see any colors on the top. Right? They don't have little labels on the top like some brands do that you can find out or have an idea of what color is in there. You have to kind of look past the lid and see what color it is. Now, of course, when you lift it up, it's gonna say matte, but it doesn't say what the color is. It just says matte acrylic. Oh, there it is. In the little corner, it says white or blanc. But usually I don't worry about the wording of the color. I pull it out and I take a look at the actual color to decide if I'm going to use it or not. That's a strong hunter's green. What is that? Hunter green. Yeah, that's a good hunter's green. All right, so let's go through this box and kind of just see exactly what we're getting. Okay, well, we get black and white, right? And it does say matte on every one of these, which I assume this entire set is a matte set, which is kind of what I always like to paint with anyway. Okay, black and white. Nice. Okay, so they have a number of reds. We're going to start with ruby red. Okay, ruby red. But if you were to go off of this, it's darker, slightly darker than this one, which I think is called stop sign. But this one is actually darker than this one. It's not showing up on camera, but that's okay. Okay, so there's your reds. Now there is a rust red, really nice rust color. And these bottles feel nice and sturdy too. Okay, working our way around, we've got this color called coral, which it's the first time I own any color like this. How often am I going to use it? Probably never. Oh, look at this. It doesn't say coral. It says down here, Coral Cove. So this is a little different. This bottle is different. It says Coral Cove there. This must be an older bottle. And the reason why I say that is it says Testors Corporation. There's no Rust-Oleum on here anywhere. Whereas you can see these bottles say Rust-Oleum. That's interesting. Made in the USA. Okay. Yeah, so Testors knew what's up. They put coral directly right in the front. Rust-Oleum likes to hide what color it is over here. Rouge Roulet, okay. Passion fruit. Okay, that's kind of, it's a little bit purpley for a pink. It's not really pink, it's kind of purpley pink. Passion fruit. Okay. Fuchsia. Okay. Here's some colors. Like if I was doing World War I aircraft, this would be great. What do we got here? Tangerine. Tangerine looks kind of like a yellow orange. It doesn't look orange, but it doesn't look yellow either. And then of course you got orange. Yeah, orange looks orange. That's just straight up orange. Labels are coming off. Okay, so I don't know if it was the temperature, the warehouse they were kept in. Sunflower. Okay, I thought I was going to use sunflower as flesh, but that's definitely not flesh. Tangerine might be able to be used as flesh. That's actually a pretty good flesh color. I mean, this... Okay, adjusted my lighting settings just so you can kind of see that there is a difference in the colors. This one might actually work as a flesh tone. We're going to experiment. We'll see. We'll see what we can get out of that. Okay, this one looks like sunshine yellow. I'm having to push the labels down on everyone that I pull out, just so you know. No big deal, though. Sunshine yellow is a very light yellow. It's almost not white, but it's like an off white. It's yellow. It's like a faded yellow compared to like that one. You can see you can see how not so yellow it is. Okay. French vanilla. Okay. French vanilla to me is like a linen color. It's a very nice color for doing like haversacks and stuff like that. So that's probably what I'll use this for when I paint my Napoleonics. Petal pink. Now that's pink. This is pink. Okay, I changed some of my lighting settings so that you could actually see these colors. This one was the orange. You can kind of see now what I was talking about, that sunshine yellow being kind of light, but at least it doesn't look white anymore. This is the French vanilla. Looks a little off-white. Comparing it straight up white. Okay, and then you've got, this is the pink. You can actually see the colors now, and I messed that up. Okay, sorry. And you can see that this is a darker red than this. Okay. All right, so let's keep going. Yeah, now that we got that settled. Okay, seafoam, is that what this is? Sea foam. That's like a really super light green. You can kind of see that. Cactus. It gets a little bit brighter, but it's still... These are colors I probably will never use. Not very often anyway. And then this is avocado. An avocado green. These two greens actually, even to my eyes, these two greens look almost exactly the same. When you take a look at their color plate here, this looks a little darker than this one, but to me, they're almost exactly the same. Okay, so let's take this. This should be just regular old green. There's the regular old green, and green looks green. Looks kind of a lighter green, but I'm comparing it to this hunter's green. This hunter green looks really good. I wish I could paint my chasseurs with that. Okay, we're going to jump into the greens. This looks like OD or olive drab. It is. It's olive drab. That is a good looking olive drab. What do you think, guys? That looks pretty good. What you're seeing on the camera, or what I'm seeing on my screen, looks exactly the same as what I see in real life. Okay, now it looks like we're going to be jumping into some blues. Okay, so let's talk about some of these blues. This is island green, which it's not really a... It's kind of a teal? No, not a teal. Turquoise, maybe? It looks kind of blue, right? It doesn't look... But on this, it looks kind of greenish blue. Like a sea blue. We're going to jump to this one. This is Paradise. Paradise is a little bit similar, maybe just a little bit darker. You're getting a lot of color, slow variations, which is good if you're painting like a base coat and then a highlight. That's excellent. And then this one is called Island Breeze. So I think this is the trinary of this set. I think the Island Breeze is the trinary. This is probably the trinary of this set right there. And you might have a trinary over here and then over there. I don't know. Not worried about that. Okay, moving on. Then we got, I don't know how to pronounce that. Hyacinth, or Jacinthe. And okay, I don't know. It looks kind of purple. But it looks pinkish purple, like a really light purple. Put that over there. A really light purple. Okay, I don't know why it jumped to a purple when we've got a color that you can't read there, which usually means this is a Testors thing. It says blue fog. Blue fog is a super light blue. It's almost a purple, like a super light purple. Okay, blue fog. Interesting. Now we're moving on into the purples, it looks like. This one is violet, or just straight up purple. Okay, which is good for my Napoleonics because I'm doing French, and one company in each battalion has purple pom-poms. That's a perfect color for that. Ooh, some of these would be great for like light blue pom-poms. Okay. Yeah, just thinking out loud. Okay, so trying to stay in the general purplish area, we've got, okay, navy blue. Navy blue. Now, I thought about painting the Napoleonic French jackets with navy blue, but I think I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to paint them with royal blue. Royal blue. Oh, that might be too light. I might do a navy blue. We'll have to experiment a little bit to find out which way we're going to go with that. All right, and then plum. Plum is definitely purple. That is purple as purple can be. They call it plum. I like it, like a dark purple. I was going to say, this might be a trinary right there. When I talk about trinary, I'm talking about a really dark base coat, then bringing it up with some mix of a lighter color, and then if I want to go with a highlight, after a wash, maybe I could highlight with that. Okay, now this, these are the grays. Okay, we'll just get past those. Dark plum. Okay. Well, this dark plum almost looks brown. Like a wood color, actually. Even though I know plum is purple, that almost looks brown to me. Because that's way darker than this plum, right? It doesn't even look purple. Look brown. But we'll get into that. Okay, so what do we got over here? We have coffee. Coffee is a great color for accessories. Wooden or canvasy style accessories. It is a brown, but it's too light for, in my opinion, it's too light for wood stocks and stuff like that. So coffee looks pretty good. I like coffee. Now this one is terracotta, but I've always thought terracotta was a little bit more red than this. This terracotta looks more brown, more orangey. Or orangey, is that a word? Okay. But yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, here we go. Now we're starting to get, this is brownie, like you're eating a brownie. Now that's a light, maybe a wood color. It could be a wood color, could be a leather color. Okay, beside these, this is starting to look a little bit more purple. Would you agree? I don't know. And then this is one of my favorite colors, desert sand. Desert sand, huh? It's like a light, it's an off-white. It would be great also maybe as haversacks, or almost like a khaki for like American leggings or something like that. All right, I know this video has gone on forever. Okay, and then you also have two gray colors. Okay, so we've got hazy and smoke. So here's hazy. That's like a really light gray. I like it. It could be greatcoats or something. It could be pretty much gray pants for like the British. It could be like a uniform gray. And then we have gray smoke, which is a little bit darker, in between. I wish it would have one slightly darker gray. I wish there was a little bit darker gray, like a not a gunsmoke, like a charcoal or something like that. But this seems to be that color because this is lighter than this. So it might, all these paints might, and especially that one, that is supposed to be that. So maybe these dry a little bit darker than what they're showing. Okay, so we're going to experiment with a few of these colors. All right, guys, I got that put up. I've got a handful of figures here just to experiment with. I've got a couple of whites and a lot of black figures here. The reason why I pulled out some whites, because I wanted to see what it would look like pure. I wanted to see what it would look like pure on the figure, because black has a tendency to make the paint look a little bit darker. And I wanted to pull out some black models, mainly for that reason, to see what they look like on black primer, but also to test out some of these yellows and maybe some of these lighter greens and pinks and stuff like that on the black, to see if, reds and yellows specifically, to make sure that the paints have good pigment. Okay, now when I open the bottle up, you can see, well, maybe you can't. There we go. You can see that the bottle's filled up to about there. Almost all the way to the top. That's perfect. You probably get a full 2 ounces. I'm not sure. It looks a little runny. Actually, it looks like a really good consistency, to be honest. Because what I like to do is I'll put paint in a palette, maybe a drop or two, and then I will thin it out with purified water to get it to the proper consistency that I want. So let's go ahead and I shook this up for about a minute. Let's go ahead and just put a drop or two. Okay, it seemed like it was kind of thick. I didn't realize. Okay, that's really good. It looks like it's, to be honest, just, I'm a fanboy already. It seems like it's the proper thickness straight out of the bottle. Okay, so we're going to take this guy right here. Now, these colors, I'm not going to use these colors on these guys. What I'm doing is I'm using these models as an experiment for you. Okay, so let's just take some yellow, and I'm going to put it on the black. It's going on pretty good, but it's doing what yellow always does and leaves brush strokes. Partially because I'm painting on black. A lot of times when you're painting yellow, it's advisable to paint some white on there first. And then that way you won't get paint strokes. And when I get these paint strokes on here, what's happening is the black underneath is shining through. So what you might have to do is a second coat. It looks like that's all I'm going to need to do is a second coat. I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and then we'll come back to it. Yeah, I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and we'll come back to it. So I'm going to try to focus. I know holding it up to the camera, you won't really be able to see it very well because of the blur. Yeah, it's not too terrible of a coverage, actually. Well, okay, I'm turning this so you can't even see it. Yeah, what do you think? I'm gonna let that dry a little bit and come back with a second coat just to see what it looks like. All right, so we're gonna set him down. Now I'm gonna put some of that yellow directly on top of a white, like I said. Now this is Philippa Macedon, so I might actually use some yellow on this guy. I don't know. Because they use a lot of purples and yellows in their armor colors. I'm using a giant brush, by the way. This is like a 1, and it's old. This is an old brush. I wanted to use an old, worn-out brush to help me decide if these are any good. And so far, so good on this. I'm going to do a close-up, and I'm doing yellow because yellow is like one of the worst colors. But these testers seem to be doing okay. You got a good consistency straight out of the bottle, but all I know about is the yellow. Okay, so let's zoom in so you can see that. It looks pretty good. That's got good coverage, it looks like. All right, let's... This is still drying, so maybe we'll give him a second coat in just a minute. Red. Red is always a hard color to... now this one is... Which one is this? Stop sign. That is one of the harder colors on black. Okay, that has the same consistency of the yellow. That's pretty good. It's nice and it's thick, but also it looks like it'll flow well. Let's see if we can put some red on the top part of this guy's cloak. Okay, this red doesn't look like it's coating on this black very well. Stop sign. Yeah, we got a problem. It's doing exactly what the yellow is doing. It's telling me that I'm going to have to do a second coat. Which is actually okay. I don't mind doing second coats, specifically on black primered models, because I tend to do feathering or blending anyway. So what I tend to do is water the paint down just a little bit and put multiple coats, like 4 or 5 different coats. Okay, so this is the initial look of red. It's not too bad. It's a little shiny when it goes on, but that's all paint, right? And you can see the yellow is starting to dry really well. Okay, so we're going to let that red dry a little bit, and I'm probably going to have to put a second coat of red on that one as well, just to kind of see what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to grab this fantasy model. I'm going to paint one of his legs red. Oh my goodness, it goes on top of white like it's crazy. That's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Wow, there's like no brush strokes. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know. Oh, it's blurred, isn't it? Okay. It's no big deal. Okay, let me show you up close since we've already got the camera focused. Look at that. It's like no brush strokes. It went on really well. I'm excited about that for my Napoleonics because I primed them white. Okay, it's only been a couple of minutes since I painted this first yellow on the black. We're going back in with some more because it looks like it's already dry. And when it dried, it didn't clump up or conceal any of the details. All right, so I got a second coat of yellow on this guy. He is, that looks really good. We're gonna let that dry and just see what that yellow looks like. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is a couple of different experiments. One is to see if tangerine can actually be used as flesh. So I'm going to paint this on one of the guys in flesh, and then I'll also come back and experiment with the different blues to see which one would be good for French blue. Yeah, as a comparison, tangerine looks very similar to, maybe just a little bit lighter, but very similar to something called Sunny Skin Tone from Model Color. Okay, so that's tangerine, which is like a light sunny skin tone. And with a wash, it'll probably look even better. Let's try it on black and white. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. On the black, it darkens it up. And when it comes to flesh on black, honestly, I like to leave brush strokes sometimes. One of the reasons, it makes the character look like he's got some ruggedness, maybe some scars, maybe some dirt or grime on his knees or his thigh or whatever. Okay, that actually looks good. Okay, that looks like a good flesh tone, actually. I think I might have to let that dry and then maybe apply a wash to it just to see what it looks like washed. Wow, that was pretty good. Okay, now conversely, let's put that on a white model. Well, on the white, it definitely only goes on with one quick coat. I didn't have to worry about thickening it up over there. And this is without me adding any water to it either. Normally, I have to add water to paint to make it thin enough to paint with. Flesh tone. Doesn't look too bad. We're going to let it dry though, and we're going to see how that actually looks with a wash on it. But yeah, it does. It looks like it's darkening up. Now that was stop sign. Maybe I should try some ruby just to see if it goes on any differently. Plus, if you're using the 3-color or at least a 2-color palette, The ruby probably should have went on first anyway. So we're going to let this ruby dry. And you can see it actually went on pretty good. I'm kind of happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to let that ruby dry, and we're going to let this stop sign dry, and then give them a second coat. Yeah, as this flesh is starting to dry, it's making it look like that guy has got no sun. But you know what? We're gonna put a flesh wash on him anyway, so that won't matter. Okay, so let's do an experiment with some navy blue and then some royal blue, and we'll see what they look like and which one might be better for the French. Okay, so this is the navy blue. Looks like it might need a second coat because of the brush strokes. And you can kind of see it's kind of dark. That's good though, but the brush strokes are killing me. So I might thin it out with some water and see what that does. Or a second coat. And we'll have to let it dry a little bit before we apply a second coat. Okay, on black it went on very well, but you can see that it is like super dark. But then again, that just might be the black primer because it looks the same color on both actually. But it went on really easily on the black. Okay, now we're going to try royal blue. Yeah, this royal blue, wow, that just looks way too light. Might actually work for French. I would have to take a look. Again, on the white, it seems to leave brush strokes. A lot of them. A different blue color. I'm going to let it dry and then put a second coat on it and see which one is actually better for my French. Black, because I guess the blue is much lighter, it's actually showing, the brush strokes are showing through. Not too bad, not too shabby. It's starting to blend together a little bit. There, this is the same one with the dark blue. So you got the navy blue and the royal blue on the same model. I split them up right there. Back and did a second coat of red. Yeah, that looks really good. As long as you're, if you're priming black, as long as you're willing to do a second coat, these paints are awesome. Okay, the one that's got the worst look to it is the royal blue, and that's because of the paint strokes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a drop or two of water with my royal blue. I'm going to mix it, and it looks like the pigment is actually doing okay. It's definitely thinning it out, but the pigment looks like it's still staying pretty good. And then I'm going to paint this and see if that eliminates the paint strokes. Paint brush strokes, I should say. Because this is how I normally paint anyway. I normally add water and go for a couple of coats because it will eliminate brush strokes, and there won't be any what am I trying to say? If it has to settle, it will. It'll settle into the cracks and crevices, kind of like a wash. Darkening or putting a heavier pigment of paint into the cracks and crevices, and the raised areas will automatically be highlighted. Okay, so that's one coat, and I'm going to come back in a second time. Yeah, that's one. Whoops. Let's get my hand in there. It's one coat of watered down. We're going to let that dry a little bit and go with a second coat of watered down, and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so now we've got this, which is the thick initial coat. I'm going to hit it again with a watered down version. And it's doing exactly what I thought it would do. Fix it. Now look at it. It's freaking outstanding. Okay. It didn't want to mix, which is a good sign. That means it's got quite a bit of pigment in there. So after I stir it a bit, it starts to blend. Now, this was a 1-to-1 water to paint, where this was a 1-to-2 water to paint. And that's usually the way I like to go, is like 1-to-2 or 1-to-3 actually. Got rid of those lines. Now let's take that paint and paint it somewhere fresh, where I'm not covering something that's already painted. Like, I guess the top of his cloak. Wow, that went on great. Yep, so I recommend adding just a little bit of water, and you'll get rid of any of those initial brush strokes. Not a whole lot of water, you know, just a little bit. We're going to let those colors dry because I want to see what's best for my French. The dark might look a little too dark, and the light might look a little too light. So I might have to mix, but we'll see. Okay, let's. This rust red, I wanted to see if it could substitute for wood. Let's take this guy's sword and pretend it's wooden. He's carrying a wooden sword. That's pretty good wood color, I think. Actually, I like it. Okay, let's put it on some black. Yep. Okay. All right, we're back. The guys are dry. So I went ahead and applied a flesh wash to that leg. Remember? Let's go ahead and zoom in. That looks to me like a good flesh color with the wash. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then this is the default figure that we're going to be applying the strong tone. We're going to apply some strong tone to that. But before I did that, I went ahead and applied some flesh wash to the face just to see what kind of look it would have. There we go. That looks pretty good. I'm happy with the flesh tone that Tangerine has given me. Tangerine and the wash looks pretty good to me as a flesh tone. All right, so let's apply a wash to this figure's colors using Army Painter Strong Tone. Now this is not a painting skill challenge. If my painting is off, then that's okay. So we're gonna let this wash dry. You can see how I applied it over the hair slash backpack, the sword, the gray arms, the blue arm, the blue legs, the red leg, and the light gray tasset. Yeah, so something I just noticed, applying the wash, I scraped off some of that paint right here on the sword. That is alarming. Maybe the paint hadn't fully dried yet, but I would have assumed that it would have been fully dry, but maybe not. So, but let's let this thing dry and then come back at it and take a look at what the wash, how it affected the blue, and how it might be able to match my French blue as well. Okay, I'll see you in just a second once that dries. All right, so the wash has dried, and I'm kind of shocked, or maybe I'm pleased. I'm not sure. It looks like the leg, which was the royal blue, is now as dark as the navy blue. Navy blue arm, royal blue leg. The royal blue leg still has a little bit of still a little bit bluer, if that makes sense. It's still a little bit lighter, I should say. But they're both very dark. Okay, so the right arm with the sword was the smoke gray, right? The gray smoke. And it does look very dark. That's with the wash. And then the light gray, I don't know these names, hazy, looks like it would be a good greatcoat color. They both would, actually. And the red, it just looks good. The backpack hair, I think, looks really good. I think with the wash, it really makes it a nice deep brown. And the wood sword, with the wash, it looks very good. I think, yeah. Now, you can see the fingers, how the paint has come off of the fingers and around the blue leg, like the feet and the shin. And the hair wasn't really painted very well anyway. Don't worry about that. But I don't know if it needs a little extra time to dry. But when I applied the wash, I was brushing off the paint. It was like it didn't stick to the primer. This primer was kind of a glossy white, so that might have a lot to do with it. I always recommend priming with a flat or a matte, so you get better coverage. But okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the royal blue, and it's going to match my French fairly good. You can kind of see the sleeves and the leg, how they match pretty well. The red collars and cuffs, that's going to match well. All red matches. The backpacks, you see the backpacks there, and the hair. I don't know if you can see the backpacks really. I don't know if the lighting's good. Backpack, hair, nice. Muskets, and the sword. That should be no problem. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use these testers and paint some French, and that's going to be a totally new video. So I appreciate you coming out and watching this video showing off these testers paints. I'm not 100% convinced that these are going to do well for my Napoleonics, but it's really just an experiment, a test. But I can use various colors on other projects, a lot of fantasy projects for sure, but there's also some good historical paint colors in here that should work really well as well. So I guess we'll have to, there's no metallics. That was the downside of the of this set. Here's that OD again. Oh, I changed the focus, but yeah, the OD looks really good. I'm happy with the OD. I'm happy with the tangerine as flesh. The yellows look good. The reds look good. Yeah, so let me get cracking on those Napoleonic figures, and I should be able to videotape most of that as well. All right, I'll see you next time. Okay, before I leave, I just wanted to share this with you. Okay, I bought this package on sale for $50 US. 50. Now, what does that come out to? Well, there's 36 bottles, so that comes out to approximately $1.40 or $1.38 exponential. So we'll say $1.39 per bottle. Okay, now when I go to Hobby Lobby or anywhere else and I buy a folk art, I'm usually paying about $1.50, maybe $1.75. So the set being $1.40 is cheaper. Also, if I was to imagine dollar per ounce, because you get 2 ounces per bottle. So 72 ounces would be only 69 cents. We'll say 70 cents. 70 cents per ounce, or $1.40 for a bottle, is pretty amazing. When I look at other paint brands like Army Painter, and I'm paying $4 a bottle, 3 and some change, and this is 0.6 ounces, I pay about $3.50 per bottle, approximately, and there's 0.6 ounces. That comes out to $5.80 per ounce. So $5 an ounce, 70 cents an ounce. Downside, they got some colors in here that I probably would never use. But on the flip side of that, they've got some colors in here that I would never use. So, or let me rephrase that. On a positive side, they've got some colors in here that I would never buy. So, like this color, or maybe this color. or these. I probably would never buy those. That. The rest of these I would all buy. Maybe not the plum. So I get about 5 or 6 paints that I probably would never have bought in the first place, but at least now I can add them to my collection. And if I ever need them, I'm going to have them. But other than that, there's a lot of great colors. So on a scale, I don't know, I don't really have a scale to say how good it is, but what I would say is it's worth it. 36 paints for $50, and you're getting good quality paints from Rust-Oleum, Testors. I would do it. If you get a chance to get this, pick it up. I bought this on, I think I got this on eBay for $50. No shipping. All right. Thanks for coming out and checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one.